Hello and welcome to the introduction of creating a real Chat GTP trading algorithm in Metatrader 5. So this GPT-4 algo reads news articles, key financials, and chart screenshots, and gives two things as a response: a summary in 250 words or less, and a signal: bullish, bearish, flat, or close all. Now, in order to complete this task, it requires 4 programming languages: Python, MQL5, PHP, and SQL. We'll also be using the OpenAI API. OpenAI is the company that owns Chat GTP. And at the end, we will create an executable app, which is a .xe file, so that you can run it on any computer without having to install Python. This is a code along. However, I have provided all working code on the Retail Trading Realities GitHub, so you can find it here. And also on my website blog, momentumtrend.com/blog. So I'm not going to bore you through every line of code. I'm keeping this course essentials as possible, and I'll explain the code in day-to-day language. I will show you where you should replace my credentials and directory paths with your own. So for where I have my OpenAI key, you will replace with your OpenAI key. The directory where I have like my PHP files, which is on my website, you will change that path to your website or somewhere on your C drive. So how much coding do you need to know for this course? So if you don't know how to code, I would suggest to speed watch a few free codecamp videos on C++, Python, and PHP without taking any notes. So double the speed and only watch 60% of the entire course. So because I am not covering all aspects of coding. So you should cover variable types, strings, integers, decimals, floats, doubles, tuples, dictionary and tuple unpacking, lists, arrays, and arrays is just another word for lists in C++, and importing modules, functions and for loops, while loops as well, iterations and booleans, which is like true or false, and conditions. I am not touching classes, inheritance, references, polymorphism, or anything complicated. I've done my best to keep this course as simple as can be, and I'd like to encourage all of you to use AI for all of your coding solutions. So if you aren't already using AI, please create a free account at poe.com. So that's poe.com, and you'll have a choice of many AIs, including Chat GTP, Llama, and Claude. So the structure of the course. There's like 9 sections or 9 lectures or 9 videos. So the first one is installing Python, VS Code to Windows operating system. Part 2 is setting up the Python, the virtual environment in your project folder. Lecture 3 is where we really start coding this EA. So yeah, we're going to be doing web scraping in Yahoo, and web scraping news articles and key financials and saving that to a text file. In section 4, we're going to automatically upload a screenshot from Metatrader 5 to our website server. Section 5, I'm going to send the news articles and data images to Chat GPT-4 for analysis. And then in the next lecture, the section 6, we're going to send that response from Chat GTP into a database. So either MySQL or MariaDB. I am using MariaDB, but I provide code for both MySQL and MariaDB. So section 7, we will turn the Python code into an app, so you can run it on any Windows-based operating system without having to install Python. And then section 8, we're going to be going back into Metatrader 5, and we're going to get Metatrader 5 to access our database for the signals. So the signals are bullish, bearish, flat, and close all. And so section 9, we finish off with an expert advisor that is buying and selling based off those signals in the Chat GTP database. Okay, so what's the next? Okay, so that's the end of this video. And in the next section, we're going to be installing Python and Visual Studio Code. So I'll catch you in the next one. Part 1 of creating a real Chat GPT-4 trading algorithm in Metatrader 5. So if you haven't already, download and unzip the code folder from either the Retail Trading Realities GitHub or the blog momentum-trend.com/blog, and all links are in the description. And all working code is in this folder. So the first thing, if you don't have Python 3.10 or higher installed on your Windows operating system, you will need to install it. So in this video, we're going to be installing Python, and then after that, we're going to install Visual Studio Code from these links here. So let's do that. So first of all, you're going to get your Python download from this page here, and I'm going to install Python. So let me install Python. Take your time with this. So these 2 checkboxes says use admin privileges when installing, and you want to click that. And the other one is add Python XE to path. You want to click that, and you want to install now. and that will take a while. And not too long now. Great. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I'm going to download Visual Studio. So choose the correct one for your operating system, so mine is 64-bit. So let me install that right now. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I do want to install it. I do accept the agreement. Next. What does that say? At least. Okay, cool. Don't create ACE. No, that's not okay. Next. Create a desktop icon. Add Open with Code action to Windows Explorer. Yep. Add Open with Code. Yes. I want to tick all of that. Install. Add to path requires a shell restart. Okay. So I'm going to press install. And while that is installing, I'd like to tell you about an offer I've got with forexvps.net. So if you haven't noticed, I'm not using Windows 10, but it's almost identical to Windows 10. I'm actually using Windows Server 2022 on forexvps.net. So I have a deal with forexvps.net where you can just pay $24 a month instead of $29 a month. So if you go to the forexvps.net page, they will offer the same server that I'm using for $29 a month. But if you use my partner link, which I'll show you right now, you will just pay $24 a month. And you won't need a VPS if you aren't like serious about trading. But if you are serious about trading and you want to trade live, expert advisors, algorithmic trading, you will need a VPS, because either that or you have to keep your PC or laptop on 24/7. So this is my partner page with forexvps.net. Let me accept all. And if you want this package that I'm kind of advertising to you right now, just click on this green bar here and just follow all the links. Okay, so that's off. That offer is over with, and we can get back to coding. So you've installed Python and you've installed Visual Studio Code. So that should set us up for section 2, which is we're going to create a Python virtual environment for our Python project folder. So I'll catch you in the next one. Section 2, setting up a Python virtual environment for our Python project folder. So let's locate that Python project folder. So hopefully you've already downloaded the code folder and you've unzipped it and you've maybe copied and pasted it into your desktop or My Documents. I'll put mine in My Documents and my folder is here. So double click on that and you can see the Python code. So double click on the Python code folder. And then we want to go into command prompt. So on this address bar at the top highlighted, you want to type in CMD and press enter. And you'll see command prompt pop up and the directory is pointing to your Python code folder. And inside this folder, we're going to create our virtual environment. So if you haven't already, you have to do pip install virtual env, like this. Let me get it on your screen right now. Yeah, so number 1, pip install virtual env. Copy these steps here. And then I've already installed it. Yeah, so it's already satisfied. Yeah, I'm not going to edit that out. And then I'm going to create a new virtual environment by doing, so follow these instructions here. Yeah, so I'm going to show you that screen again. So yeah, number 2, so you want to type in Python and then your Python version, the -m, venv, and then the name of your virtual environment. You can name it anything, but we usually name it either venv or environment, but you can call it like elephants instead, anything you want. So I'm going to do mine right now. So Python -m venv environment, and that should create a folder called environment inside our Python code folder. And it has. So if you look here, a new folder has been created called environment. And to activate our virtual environment, we want to get to a file that's inside the scripts folder. So I'm going to show you the scripts folder, and it's this one called activate.bat. And we use this file if we are using command prompt. But if you're using PowerShell, which is very similar to command prompt, you would try to access this file here called activate with a capital A.ps1. So I'm going to go back to my Python code folder and back into command prompt. And I'm going to activate this virtual environment that we now have. So I'm going to type in environment, which is the name of my virtual environment, but you might have called yours elephants. Scripts, because it's in the scripts folder, and then activate.bat. And as you can see, we are now inside the Python virtual environment. And you can tell because in brackets it says environment and then it has the directory of our folder. So if yours doesn't look something like this, you're not actually inside. You have not activated the Python virtual environment. So, oh yeah, and if you want to deactivate the Python environment once you're in, you just type in deactivate like this. Yeah, so I'm going to get back into it. So yeah, I'm back in. Where was I? Yeah, so the reason why we create a Python virtual environment is that at the end, we want to have this Python project contained in a .xe application. In that app, we only want to include the Python modules used for that app. If we didn't use the virtual environment, the app file would include every Python module we have ever used outside of this project. And our final app size would be larger than needed. So it could be like maybe 200 megabytes. And like this app should only be about 50 megabytes. So, okay, so we've made the environment. So we're now ready for section 3. So I'll see you in that video. Section 3, web scraping news articles from Yahoo Finance. So for this section, you will need to have a Google Chrome browser. And yeah, so let's look at Yahoo Finance. So I want to web scrape the first 10 news articles that are on this page. So to do that, I need to right click and do inspect. And you'll see this window open on the right hand side. Now, here we go. I can see the internet link. So the internet link is here under href, and it's inside a tag, an A tag, and a class called subtle link, fin size small, yada yada yada. So what you have to do, you have to write that down. So you have to write down it's an A tag. You have to write down the class, or copy and paste it into a notepad file, and note that obviously all URL links come through this href tag as well. So now that we've got that information, we want to open up our Python code folder. We want to go into GPT-4o Expert Advisors, and then select the Python code folder, right click that, and open with code. And that's great. Also, if you haven't already done so, in the extension tab of Visual Code, you want to install the Python language support from Microsoft. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, so please install that. And we're going to open up. Let me go back to the files. So the files is here. Scrape news URLs bottom dash cell, and that just stands for Selenium, because we're going to be using a module called Selenium. Let me double click that. Yeah, so if we go to line, there we go, line 37, it says driver find elements by CSS selector, and then it says a dot subtle link blah 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 blah. So the A is the A tag, and the subtle link dot fin size, that is the class name that we found our internet link in, and then underneath that it says URLs equals get attribute href. Remember, our link was in that href. Cool. And then we want the first 10 on the page. So you see that number 10 there. So if you want 20, you can change that number to 20. If you want 2, just change that number to 2. If you just want 2 articles to scrape instead of 10. And then these news links URLs will be saved to a text file called newsurls.txt. Cool. But in order to do that, we need to install a module called Selenium. Otherwise, this won't work. So let me go to command prompt and do, there we go. So inside of our Python environment, pip install, let's do this, Selenium. And my computer's acting really slow right now because I'm actually doing a screen recording, so I'm not really used to it being so slow. So let me do that. Selenium. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Python, okay, upgrade pip. Okay, I'm going to upgrade pip because this thing is asking me to upgrade pip. So we did upgrade pip before. However, this is inside of a Python virtual environment, so it doesn't actually know that we've done it before. Python.exe -m. Let me expand this. -m pip install. Python -m pip install -- upgrade pip. Let's do this. Okay, so in order to get Selenium to actually work and web scrape, you need to download the Selenium Chrome driver from here. And the links are in the description. So if you look at this like green table here, it says Chrome, but you don't want Chrome, you want Chrome driver. So you want Chrome driver, which is for your system. So for me, I want Chrome driver Windows 64. I've already done this for myself. I'll just do it again for you guys. If you've got a 32-bit system, this is the one that you want. And it must be Chrome driver, not Chrome. So I'm going to copy and paste that there and download it. I'm going to open the folder and you see Chrome driver. I'm going to unzip that, extract all. I've done this before, but just doing it for you guys. Cool. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Where is it? My documents. Documents. Oh, there we go. I'm losing my mind here. It's getting quite late for me. There we go. So I'll paste that here. Replace the file. Yeah, I've already done that, but just for you guys. Okay, we've got Chrome driver. And now, let me do this. Inside our Visual Studio Code. Can I run it? Have I installed everything I need? Okay, so I'm going to run this for NVIDIA. So let me do that. So let me go to View, Terminal. Python virtual environment was successfully activated. Okay, we have to make sure we are inside the environment. So, okay, cool. Yeah, to make sure you're inside the Python environment, just click on here. But we know that we're inside of it because I named my environment. So we're in it right now. And I'm going to run this, run Python file. I'm going to run. Cool. So it should be web scraping now. And creating a file called news url.txt. So it's located the page, NVIDIA. And if you notice, it says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So yeah. And yeah, so let's go into news urls.txt. And there you have it. You've got 10 news articles. And that's that. So the next thing we need to do is get Selenium to web scrape each of these news articles. So we've got the links to these articles, but we actually want the articles. So obviously I've asked Python to web scrape 10, but I'm not going to sit here and try and web scrape through 10. So for scraping the Yahoo articles, I've had to find the tag and the class. So I'm going to show you. So the articles are found in a class called body and a class name called YF, 5EF, 8BF. And most of the news articles are in P tags. So it says tag name P. And it's similar to what I did earlier with by right-clicking on the web page and clicking inspect element, and going through the HTML tags and the class names. So I'm not going to do all that again. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a news link, the first news link that we just web scraped. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to run it through this program called, this Python file called scrape Yahoo articles.py. So I'm in a new Python file right now. So I just clicked on that. So I'm going to replace this URL. This is an old one that I had, but I'm going to paste today's news article. Was that yesterday's? I'm going to save the file, Control S, and I'm going to run this file now. And I'm only going to run this once, and this is just going to scrape one news article. We're not going to do 10. And it's going to put it into a file called article.txt, just for this example. So yeah, after NVIDIA earnings, is the AI trend still investor friendly? By Corey Goldman, Sunday, November the 24th. And today is November the 24th. So this article is written today. We're going to see, so it says trends are trends because they come and go. So remember that first paragraph. Trends are trends because they come and go. Trends are trends because they come and go. So let's see if it creates a file that says that in it. So it's printed to the terminal. Trends are trends because they come and go. With the world of investing in markets, certainly no. Okay, so it's web scrape the article, but where is our file called article content? Article.txt. Let me refresh this. Let me go into the folder. Where's the folder? Go Python code. Article.txt. So yeah, it is there, but I don't know why it didn't show up in. It hasn't shown up in the left-hand column for some reason. So let me. Oh, here it is. It's there. It's there. Article.txt. So yeah, it's in this text file, and you can check it in your folder as well. Article.txt. If you double click on that, you'll see the article. Cool. There we go. Trends are trends because they come and go. Okay, so we've just web scraped one article, and we have web scraped 10 URLs as well. Lastly, for the web scraping, we need the stock's key financials, which is the income statement and the cash flow statement. So open scrape financials.py file. And for this, we need to install the yfinance module. So in command prompt, we'll do pip. And make sure you are inside of your virtual environment. Pip install yfinance. So let me click on financials. So yeah, right now I'm inside the income statement, and I'm going to click on cash flow for cash flow statement as well. And we are going to web scrape the cash flow statement and the income statement using the yfinance module. They make it nice and easy for us. So, okay, so the yfinance module is installing right now inside of our command prompt. Cool. So we'll wait for that to finish. So we're going to web scrape our income statement and cash flow statement, and they will be stored in CSV files. This is finished installing yet? Not yet. Okay, it's finished installing the yfinance module. So let's go into our VS Code. VS Code. So I'm in VS Code now. Let me get rid of this terminal. So view, terminal, or I can just close it there. And let me change the symbol down here to NVIDIA. Let's do everything NVIDIA. Not NFT, what am I doing? NVDA. So what this function does, scrape key financials, it uses the yfinance module to web scrape the income statement and the cash flow statement. And the income statement will be saved in a file called symbol-income statement.csv, and the cash flow statement will be saved in a file called the symbol name-cash flow statement.csv. So let's run this right now, and I'm only running it for one symbol. So if name equals main, if you don't know what that means, you can go on Google or ask Chat GPT what it means. But it's something that we run every time we run in a function or a script, we run this if name equals main. So let me do that now. You see that? So it's been printed to the terminal, our income statement, and also our cash flow statement. So let me click on that. You can see the files here. So let me expand the left-hand column. NVIDIA cash flow statement.csv, NVIDIA income statement.csv. And as you can see, all that information from Yahoo has been put in this CSV file. Do you want to install the recommended Rainbow CSV? Yes, I do. So yeah, I recommend you all install the Rainbow CSV extension. And what it does, it turns CSV files into more readable files by having different colors for different columns. So I'll show you right now. Install this Rainbow CSV. Okay, it's installed now. Let me go back to my files. So let's look at these. There we go. So look, the CSV files are easier to read now. So let's look at the income statement, tax rate, earnings before income tax, amortization, net interest income. And I'm not going to check these because I know that they're all identical to what is on the NVIDIA key financials page, but you can check that in your own time to see if it's correct. But I know it's correct. So that is the end of this section, which is web scraping. So we web scraped news URLs, articles, and key financials, which is the income statement and the cash flow statement. So in the next video, which is, section 4, we're going to automatically upload a chart screenshot from Metatrader 5 to your server. So yeah, so hang in for that one. So I'm going to finish this video right here and see you in the next one. Part 4, automatically upload a chart screenshot from Metatrader 5 to your website. In this video, we will be using an expert advisor in Metatrader 5 to upload multiple screenshots every 2 hours of the daily chart for 5 stock symbols. For this exercise, you will need Metatrader 5 and Metaeditor, which is the IDE for Metatrader 5's language, MQL5. Metaeditor comes packaged with every installation of Metatrader 5. So if you don't already have Metatrader 5, I have some broker recommendations, and I'll make it clear these are all affiliate referrals. So let me pop over to my website, Momentum Trend, on the brokerage page. And the first brokerage is IC Trading. So IC Trading, if you are based in the UK and the EU. IC Markets Global, if you are based anywhere outside of the EU, but that doesn't include America or Canada. In fact, none of the brokerages I'm going to recommend to you take American or Canadian clients because CFD trading is banned in those countries. The third brokerage is Teletrade. And I like Teletrade very much. Teletrade is an offshore unlicensed broker with a 24-year history. I like them because you can deposit and withdraw with crypto. That is USDT and Bitcoin. They have a wide range of assets, including world stocks, not just American stocks, and crypto CFDs. So not all MT5 brokerages allow you to trade crypto CFDs. My fourth option is really for the Asian clients. So Vantage Markets Global is based in Asia, so I think you're kind of better served there, and you're probably likely to get better customer service since they are based in Asia. So Vantage Markets Global if you're based in Asia. And if you're not interested in trading your own capital, I do have another offer. I have Darwin X Zero. So let me show you a slide on that. Let me show you that. So at Darwin X Zero, you can trade a virtual 100,000 US dollars for 38 euros a month, or you can pay annually. In the annual option, it's cheaper in the long run than paying monthly. At Darwin X Zero, you are building your track record to eventually trade your own funds that can accept investors under the Darwin X regulation. Darwin X is a regulated brokerage in the UK and in the EU. Darwin X is the company that owns Darwin X Zero. If you sign up with my referral link, you can save 20% on your first month if you're using the monthly subscription, or you can save 5% if you're planning on using an annual subscription. So that's like a 1-year option or a 3-year option plan. So I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to go over to, this is my Darwin X monthly subscription link. So I'm just going to act like I've just got here. Let me click on that. Then I'm going to click sign up. When you click on sign up, everything should automatically be there. So as you can see, my coupon has automatically been put into the cart, and it says, and the reason why I say dollars is because it says country of residence is United States of America. So I'm going to change that to United Kingdom, and the monthly subscription is 38 euros. And you can see that my coupon has automatically been put in the cart. So you're only paying 30.40 instead of 38 euros. Okay, that's that deal out the way. Okay, so in addition to installing this Metatrader 5, we're going to be uploading our PNG file screenshot via web request to our server. So my server is at momentumtrend.com. So I want to take you to my website. So I'm going to be uploading my screenshot to my website, a directory on my website. And my server is hosted by Hostingjar, which brings me to my next promotion, hostingjar.com. So if you don't already have a server or a website, sign up to hostingjar.co.uk or hostingjar.com, and you'll get 20% off when you use my referral link or coupon. So yeah, I'm going to take you to the back end of my website, Momentum Trend, which is hosted by Hostingjar, the website I've just been talking about. So this is what it looks like when you buy a website from Hostingjar. This is what they call the H panel, and you click on File Manager to see all your files and folders. Hostingjar make it very easy. Public HTML. I want to create a new folder called YouTube. This is where I'm going to source that I'm making. So YouTube, that's my directory, create. And inside this YouTube folder, I want to upload all of the PHP files that I have provided. So let's go to, I'll show you that. So PHP files, and the PHP files folder is inside the general code folder. So you want all of these files inside of the YouTube folder that I created on my website. So let me do that right now. So upload by pressing one of these arrows, file, and one at a time. I'll do this, file, and for this video, we're only going to be using this PHP file, but I thought you might as well upload all of them at the same time. So we've already done that now. So I'm going to double click into upload screenshot.php. And what this does, it receives a web request from Metatrader 5 and uploads the image that is sent, which is actually binary, and it converts it into a PNG image. And that PNG image will be named the name of the stock symbol .png, and it will be saved within this YouTube folder. So it will be saved within the same folder as this PHP file is saved in. So what we're going to do now is go over to our Metatrader 5 file called, what have I done with it? Here we go. Screenshot to server.mq5. So open that up. Good. Now this file is the expert advisor that will send screenshots of our stocks to our server every 2 hours. So first of all, we have our global variables. And what that means is that every function in this program has access to these variables. And if you notice, these variables are of different types. So this one here is a date time type, and that's another like function for like internal function from MetaQuotes for determining times and dates. And then we got string. We got a string array, and in Python, arrays are called lists. And we've got an integer type here denoted by int. So the first function we come across is something called int on init. And what that means is on initialization. And the on init function is an internal function by MQL5, meaning every expert advisor has this function. Yeah, they must have this function. And this function is run once when the EA is loaded and enabled on a chart. Cool. So the second function I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about this function called dinit because it's not being used. So the second function I want to talk about is onTick. And if you notice, it has like a date time, right bar equals this thing called iTime. I'm not going to explain everything, but it says period H2 because we're going to be uploading screenshots every 2 hours. So we kind of need the period called H2, which is hour 2, which is the 2 hour charts. And the onTick function is a default function by MQL5. It runs the code every time a new price quote is updated. And a new price quote is called a tick. That's why it's called an onTick function. If a new quote comes in while the program is already reading this onTick function, the program will ignore those incoming ticks and continue reading the onTick function. So I hope that makes sense. Now, when I code expert advisors, I don't like to run them on tick. I like to run them on bar. So can you see this thing saying on bar? And this on bar function is is within a for loop because I'm running this on bar function and I'm iterating through different stock symbols. Yeah, so when I run this on bar function, it will run it for Nvidia, it will run it for Cost, which is Costco, it will run it for Meta, that is Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook group, and it will run it for Tesla, and lastly, it will run it for Microsoft, this on bar function. This on bar function iterates through this list called symbol list. Yeah, and let me explain the on bar function. So we've got the on bar function here, and yeah, so the on bar function executes on the open of a new bar or a new candlestick, and I've chosen the H2 period, so that's every 2 hours. So the on bar function takes in a stock symbol as an argument or a parameter from the symbol list array, which I explained before, and I have it inside this for loop. So starting from position 0, there we go, position 0 in this list, and when you're writing an array or a list, so whether it's Python or C++, the index of the first element in that list or array is always given like index 0. So there are 5 strings inside of this string list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Microsoft is the 5th element. However, when we talk about indexing for this list, because we start at 0, Microsoft is actually in position 4, because that's how it's done in programming. So yeah, anyway, so this program will iterate through the on-bar function one symbol at a time. And I'll show you the on-bar function. So now inside the on-bar function, we name our PNG file. PNG is an image file. So the name of the file is the name of the symbol. And then you've got this function called chart set symbol period. And this is a symbol that is made by a Metatrader 5. And what that does, that sets the, it sets the symbol, it sets the chart, it sets the period. So we want the symbol that we're passing through. So the first one's going to be Nvidia. So the first one's Nvidia in the list. So the first one's going to be Nvidia.png. The first chart is going to be the current chart, Nvidia, and it's going to be the daily chart, so period D1. And then we delay the program for 5 seconds because it's going to take a while for the chart to change charts. And then we take a chart screenshot, and then we put it into a function, that screenshot, into a function called send file to server. And in the send file to server, it's got all this complicated stuff here, and we convert the PNG file to a binary, and it says file bin here, and that just means that we are converting the file to binary, and we're going to send it over as a web request. So the address that we want is actually momentum trends. It's not this address in here. It's actually YouTube. What was it again? It was, let me go and open that. It was YouTube upload screenshot.php. So //upload screenshot.php. I'm going to save that now. So I'm going to compile that. And if we go into our Metatrader 5 terminal now, so you go to Tools, Trading Terminal, or just press S4, it'll take you to the trading terminal. And then we have to go to View, Navigator, and where is that robot? Okay, I have to refresh this. Okay, that's a bit weird. So Windows, what have I done here? So Windows, Tools, Trading Terminal, screenshot to, where is it? Screenshot to, aha, I know I did wrong. So when you go to the MQL5 folder, okay, I need to copy this. So copy that and go to File. Yeah, so inside of Metatrader 5, go to Open Data folder, MQL5, Experts, and then paste it in here. Nice. And then on Expert Advisors, in your navigator, so you should go to View, Navigator, or Control N, refresh, right click, refresh. So here we go, we've got screenshot to server. So what I'm going to do is open a new chart and put it on Microsoft. And I'm going to add a few indicators to the chart as well. So let me get rid of the grid. I don't like grids for some reason. I don't like grids at all. So grid. So I'm going to do grid. I don't know colors on the grid. I don't want to see volumes either, actually. So I don't want to see no volumes, so none. So I'm changing the color to nones. And then I don't like the candlestick so large as well. I've got it on the daily chart, and let me add some indicators. So insert indicator, custom, MACD, we like the MACD. Okay, and then we're gonna RSI, I like the RSI. So oscillator. So yeah, insert indicators, oscillators, RSI. Yeah. Okay, so I'm now going to put the screenshot to server expert advisor onto this chart. I'm going to press OK. And I'm looking at the experts tab here. So if you want to see this experts tabs, you have to go to view toolbox. So click on toolbox. So view toolbox, and then click on the experts tab. Let me show that again. And no, the screenshot to server EA hasn't actually done anything. And the reason for that is because the markets are actually closed. So I'm actually doing this presentation on a Sunday. So what I'm going to do is put the on bar function on the on init function just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to, let me do this now. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to put this, the for loop, inside the on init function after this symbol list length variable. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to compile this. I'm going to compile that, and that is actually saved in the wrong place again. So I have to go back to our MQL5 folder, which is inside of the downloaded folder that I gave you earlier. So it's inside this GPT-4, and I have to go back to Metatrader 5, unfortunately. So you have to go back to Metatrader 5's folder. So open data folder, MQL5, experts. And I'm going to paste this. I'm going to paste screenshot to server expert advisor, and it should overwrite this one. So replace. You want to replace it. Cool. And we want to refresh. We want to refresh that. So I'm going to delete this screenshot to server, remove it, and I'm going to put the new one on it. So it should work right now. So when I put this onto this chart, drag and drop, it should upload some screenshots to our server. Okay, it looks like it's file uploaded successfully. Server response is 200. That's what you want to see. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go to my server now and see what's going on. So let me go to my momentum trend. Let me do that. Let me go to my server. So where's my server? Okay, so let me refresh this server now. Nice. So what I've got in here now, I've got some images. So let me click on that. Cool. And I've got, and the address of these images is here. So if I do this, momentum-trend.com/YouTube. Oh, fuck. Wait, let me do that again. momentum-trend/YouTube/Microsoft.png. Yeah, we got our images. I want to try it. What, NVIDIA? Yeah, it's all there. What's another one? Meta. Yeah, so it's all at our addresses. So I can find all of my image files at momentum-trend/YouTube/symbol.png. So what else do I have to do? Okay, so yeah, as you can see, everything is working, and that's the end of this section. So in the next video, we're going to be sending the news articles, data and images to Chat GPT-4 API for analysis via web HTTP requests. So stay around for that. Section 5. Send news articles, financial data and images to Chat GPT-4 API for analysis via web HTTP requests. So first thing you need to do is sign up to OpenAI API and deposit $15 US, and that will give you thousands of requests. And I'm going to show you that right now. So escape. Okay, so here's the website you need. Here's the address to sign up to OpenAI. So you want to click on sign up. And I expect you will type in your credentials, or you can log in with Google, and then you should deposit $15, and you should get your API key, organization code, and project key, and you will need all three to put into Python for the web requests. And we're going to take a look at the API reference, and the part we want is chat. So the endpoint is chat. So let me click on chat on the left-hand column, and I'm inside the API reference, the documentation, and we're interested in the default option for requests. So let me just scroll wheel. Okay, here we go. So this is an example highlighted of a request, and we want Python. So let me select Python as well. Python GPT-4, yeah, that's correct. So yeah, the default is just for sending messages and receiving messages. And the first thing you want to do, you want to tell Chat GPT who it is. So for us, we would put role, system, content, and we would tell the system, which is Chat GPT, that you are a financial advisor. Yeah. And then the second message we'll send to Chat GPT is as a user. So we're going to say, hello, Chat GPT, could you please analyze these stocks for us by looking at the news articles and the screenshot image, and also the key financials, that is the income statement and the cash flow statement. And could you give us a response of bullish, bearish, flat, or close all? And that's what we're going to send to Chat GPT. And the response will look something like this below. So here's the response. What have I done here? So chat, this thing's moved. So let me go. So yeah, so the response is going to look something like this. So it will say the model. So we're going to be using GPT-4o-mini, but if you want to use like GPT-5 or like any other GPT, you can just type in a different GPT model here, highlighted where it says model. But we're going to be using GPT-4o-mini because it's far better than Chat GPT-3, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper than Chat GPT-5, and it's still very powerful. So yeah, the response is going to look like something like this. And the bit that we want is the bit that says content. So it's message, content, and Chat GPT is going to have our response that we're looking for in here. So this is the entire response that it will give back to us, but we only want the bit that is within message and content. So I hope you understand that, but if you don't understand that, you will further on in this video. So let me go over to our Python folder. We haven't been to the Python folder for a few videos now. So I'm back inside our Python code folder, and I'm going to open a file called GPT-4o-mini requests. So click on that, and let me get rid of this terminal because we're not running anything yet. So GPT-4o-mini request.py. Okay, so as you can see, there are these like squiggly red lines in these import statements, and that's because we don't have these modules that installed. So we need to go to command prompt and make sure these modules are installed in our Python environment. So go to command prompt and make sure you're inside environment, and you should recognize that you're inside the environment by the bracket. So whatever you name the environment. So I named my environment, but you might have named yours elephants. So what I'm going to do pip install. So the first one's going to be MySQL, and that's going to help us push our data into a database later. But that's in the next video. Okay, successfully installed my. Oh, that was quick. So, and the next module we're going to put in is the OpenAI API. So pip install. What's that? OpenAI. Okay, I don't think I have to install requests because I don't see a squiggly line. Okay, so that's cool. So I'm just going to try and explain this function that is inside of the GPT-4o-mini request.py. So this function is called def analyze stock data. So the first part of this function is your Chat GTP or OpenAI credentials. So you have to put in your API key here. I'm not going to show you my API key. You have to put your organization key in and your project key. So that's 3 things you have to copy and paste here. And then you have to copy and paste the location of your image file. So I'm going to fill that in right now because this is not correct. So mine was from the last lecture, momentum trend trend.com/YouTube. There you go. /symbol.png, and that's correct. So yeah, so the first part of this function called def analyze stock. So the first part is the OpenAI credentials, and then we are preparing the files for the HTTP requests. So here's the image, here's the article, here's the income statement, here's the cash flow statement. What else? Yeah, so yeah, we're just preparing it, and then we get to the actual request. So this is the request that we saw in the OpenAI documentation that we saw earlier. So the model is GPT-4o-mini, and we send messages to Chat GTP or prompts. So the first message we send Chat GTP is, you are a financial analyst. And then after we say, role user content, please analyze the chart PNG image, news, income statement, and cash flow data provided. Summarize in less than 250 words and end with one of these phrases: bullish, bearish, flat, and close all. So, I mean, you can change this question you want to ask ChatGTP. So this is where you would put your own question in here. And this is how you include an image when asking ChatGTP a question as well. So submitting an image kind of requires you to put it in this type of format. So as you can see here, so this is just for submitting an image here, all of this highlighted code here. And then afterwards, we are submitting the news articles, the income statement, and the cash flow statement. So this is the format you kind of send text files and CSV files. As you can see, it's a lot different to how you would send this highlighted image URL. And then this function returns response.choices.message.content. Remember in the documentation, I said we want the message.content part of the request. We don't want the whole of the request. So goody. So what else do I have to explain? Okay, so I'm just going to run this to get a response from Chat GPT-4o-mini. So actually, no, I'm not ready quite yet because so the article, so I only web scrape for one article. I didn't actually collect a bunch of articles with the name. Yeah, so there isn't actually, I don't have a file called like NVIDIA article.txt. I do have a file called article.txt. So what I'm going to do, let me go back to scrape Yahoo articles.py. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cheat a little bit just for this one file, because I am going to run several files, but I need to get an article called NVIDIA article.txt. So I'm going to web scrape an NVIDIA article, and it's going to be saved as NVIDIA article.txt. So let me save that. Control, save. Okay, so I'm going to run that scrape Yahoo articles again so I can get the news article. Yeah, this will take some time. Okay, cool. So I've got my news article in a file called NVIDIA article.txt. And let me go back to my GPT-4o-mini request PY. So I've got my image, I've got my text file article, I've got my income statement, NVIDIA, where is it? Yeah, NVIDIA cash flow statement, NVIDIA income statement. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got all 4. And okay, I need to enter my API key and organization key. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video and recording now because I have to paste this all in. And obviously I don't want to give away my API key to the whole world. So let me do that right now. Let me stop recording and I'll be back. Yes, and I am back. So I have put my credentials, my OpenAI credentials into this file, and I'm going to run the function called analyze stock data. So what I'm going to do is, obviously there's another function down here called save to database, but we haven't actually set up our database. So I'm going to comment that out so it doesn't run because we'll get an error otherwise. So let me comment. That should all be red now. So let me control. Nice. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, the code won't read this stuff in red, just this. So let me control S, save, and let me run this. So that was a very fast response from Chat GPT-4o-mini OpenAI, and let's read it. So it says NVIDIA continues to dominate the semiconductor market, particularly within the AI sector, underscored by its robust financial performance in the recent fiscal year. The income statement highlights remarkable growth, blah, blah, blah. However, cash flow data represents a cautious note, despite free cash flow remaining strong at. So yeah, so this thing has been, the OpenAI read our cash flow data. The spending could indicate strategic. Okay, so yeah, market sentiment is mixed. While NVIDIA has eclipsed revenue expectations, so okay, it read the article, some analysts express concerns about the sustainability of its growth, particularly when the slowing pace compared to the previous quarters. Additionally, now here in the last paragraph, in the last sentence of this paragraph, is talking about the image we sent. So remember, the image we sent had the RSI and the MACD indicators. So this is what ChatGPT has to say about that image. It says, additionally, the RSI and MACD indicators show stability in the stock price around $150, suggesting potential for fluctuation. Overall, the firm remains a key player in the AI revolution, but faces scrutiny regarding the future growth consistency. And then the last word is bullish. So that analysis was just based off of one news article because, like, I just don't have time to sit through and send 10 news articles. So I'll do the full thing at the end. So at the end, I'll do the whole, 10 articles for 5 different stocks. But right now, we're just going through the code. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And I hope you're happy with that. And in the next video, which is section 6, we're going to be saving this response in a MySQL or MariaDB database. So stick around for that. See you in the next one. Section 6. Receive a response from OpenAI API and store that response in a MySQL or MariaDB database. So in this video, we're going to create a database, and the database I'm using is MariaDB. And MariaDB is a fork of MySQL. If you want to use a MySQL database instead, what you can do, you can go to the folder that you downloaded with all the code in it, this one here, and go into the MySQL folder and copy and paste this file into the Python code folder, and that will override this file here, and that will have the correct code for a MySQL database. So right now I'm using a MariaDB database, but the code is very similar anyway. So yes, so we're going to look at this function called save to database. So we've already received our ChatGPT OpenAI response in the last video, and that was in section 5. And now I need to create a database. So I need to get my my website IP address, my database username, password, and database name. So that's what I'm going to do now. So let me create that now in Hostinger, and you'll see why I like Hostinger so much, because it's just really easy to set up. So I'm going to go into Hostinger H panel, and Let me do that now. So I'm in H panel, and last time we went into File Manager, and this time I'm going to click on Databases. So let me click on Databases in Hosting Jar. My database name is Sausages, and my SQL username is password. So the entire database name is this U38311-sausages, and my username is this whole thing. So U383 blah 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 bottom dash hot dog. So I'm going to press create, and that's going to create my database. So if I scroll down, you should see my new hot dogs database, sausages database, and the username is hot dogs. So I'm going to enter my admin and my database admin, sausages, and you'll see there are no tables here because I haven't set up any tables. We're going to allow Python to automatically do that for us. So let me get back to databases, and I'm going to copy and paste my credentials, my database credentials, into this code here. So in order for me to do that, I need to come off screen. So let me just, I can do the first part, which is, what is that? The database name is sausages. So database name is paste sausages. My username is this. And the other stuff will be taken off screen. So like my website IP address and my password, obviously I'm not going to share it to the whole world. But the rest of this function, it will create a table called stock analysis, and it will have 5 columns. So the first column will be ID, which is an auto increment key. So obviously the first data that passes in will be 1, the second one will be 2, 3, and so on. And this is the column that does it. So that's the first column, and that's also a primary key for our database. And then the second column will be stock symbol. So that's going to be NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, etc., etc. And then the third column is going to be our 250 word or less summary analysis of the data that we've submitted. And the final column will just be the sentiment, which will be bullish, bearish, flat, or close all. And the final column, the fifth column, will be created at timestamp. And that is something that the database MariaDB or MySQL actually records itself. So when it receives the request, it's just like a timestamp. It says, okay, received here at UTC time, blah 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 blah, and that's that. So, and the rest of this function, okay, so like this part of the function here just says, for the sentiment column, look inside of summary for the words bullish, bearish, flat, and close all. And all right, let me get that again. And to look for those words in the last 150 characters, because that word is to be included somewhere in the last final paragraph. So if you want to like just look for any of these words in the entire response, you can just delete the -150. But the -150 is just telling Python just to look in the final 150 characters of the response. Cool. So I'm going to run that, but okay, let me come off screen here so I can type in my IP address and password. So let me just do that. Just come off screen. Okay, so let me pause recording. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to run this function. So we're going to run analyze stock data. So we're going to send a request to Chat GPT, and we're going to save that in our database as well. So let me run that. So let me run that. Okay, I did something wrong here. So error access denied for user blah 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 hot dogs at 3, summary saved to the database. Okay, using password, yes. What password? Yes. Okay, so I have to see what I'm doing wrong here. So I'm just going to pause this and go into my code and passwords and see what I typed in wrong. Okay, I think I found the problem. So in order to access my MySQL or MariaDB database remotely, I have to allow it in my database management inside Hosting Jar. And so I have to click on Remote MySQL in Database Management in the Hosting Jar H panel. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to choose my database. which is sausages. And then I'm going to say any host. And I'm going to say create. Remote database created successfully. Okay, so I shouldn't have any more problems now. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to give it one more try, and it should work. So let me run this. Should work now. So we've allowed a remote connection to our database. Okay, I don't have any errors. And okay, saying flat now. So saying bullish before. Now it's saying flat. So let me see if it went inside the database and created a new table called stock analysis. So let's have a look. So there's a table called stock analysis inside sausages. And so we've got stock symbol, NVIDIA. And the reason why it says ID2 is because I've actually run it before, but I deleted it because I wasn't actually recording it. So I forgot to press record. So this is saying the sentiment is flat. And here's our 250 word summary. So if I double click on that and then pull this out, you can see, let me do this. So here's the whole analysis from Chat GPT. It talks about the technical analysis of the MACD and RSI. So yeah, it's quite weird. So before it was given like a bullish outlook, and then with the same information, it's given a flat outlook. But remember, we only submitted one article, so we'll get like more accurate analysis, or better analysis, more consistent analysis, I should say. I shouldn't say better, but more consistent analysis from ChatGPT when we submit maybe 8 to 10 articles at a time for a single stock. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So we've got our response into the database. So now all we need to do in the next video is to run it for multiple stocks, and for each stock, run it for 8 to 10 articles, and put the responses into this database, and then we'll be nearly finished. So the only thing that we have to do after that is create our Metatrader 5 expert advisor that takes signals from this database, really from this sentiment column. So I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks. Section 7, package Python code into an app, an executable file to run on any Microsoft Windows-based operating system, such as a VPS server, using pyinstaller. So all we have done is run this program for one stock symbol and one function at a time. We want to run multiple stock symbols through all of these functions in one sequence. So to do that, we're going to open main.py, and let's look at that. So in main.py, we're importing all of the functions that we've been using in Python so far from all of these Python modules. So as you can see here, and then we've got this function called def_main, and this def_main, this function contains all the functions we've been looking at, and it also includes a bit of logging as well. So we are creating a logs files directory called GPT-4log. So when we're running this program, we can see if there's been any errors, and we also want to know what time this program was like being executed as well, because we're going to run this automatically using Windows Scheduler as well. So yeah, so I'm going to do that, and so yeah, this code is going to iterate through this symbol list, and for each symbol, we're going to web scrape articles. We're going to look at the income statement and cash flow statements, and we're going to send all of that to OpenAI API, and we're going to save all of that to a database. So yeah, let me run this. So if name equals main, so run the main function, which is this. So let's do this, and I'm just going to make one little edit because I'm tired right now. So I'm only going to web scrape not 10, but I'm only going to web scrape 3. So there we go. Scroll down, 3. So for each stock, I'm only going to look at 3 articles because I can't be bothered to sit through that. So yeah, just did something wrong. Okay, so I'm going to change that 10 to 3. And my computer is acting very slow right now, so I'm making all these mistakes. It's because I'm screen recording, and come on, there we go. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to run main.py. So it's going to web scrape 3 web articles, news articles, and it's going to include for all stocks in the symbol list. Okay, so Selenium is now going to the NVIDIA news page, and it's going to do this for each stock. So that's going to take some time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop recording now, and when this task has completed, I will get back to you. So let me just pause recording now. Yeah, and so the program has gone through 4 stocks already, and it's on the last one, which is Tesla. So it's just web scraping. It's web scraping the last news articles for Tesla, and it's going to put it into our database for us. So if you look at your VS Code, you'll notice that on the left-hand panel, on the file explorer, that it's been populated with new files. So we've got Meta cash flow statement, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Costco as well. Before, we only had NVIDIA because we was only running this program for one stock. So yeah, the Tesla cash flow statements and Tesla income statements have come through. So the analysis will be quick now. Okay, that's great. It's been saved to the database. So let's take a look at the database now. And where's the database? So the database is here. So let me refresh that, and great. So we've got NVIDIA, Cost, Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla, and those are our 5 stocks. And we've got an analysis, and we've got a sentiment as well for each, which is great. So what we have to do now, so like now we know that the code works, we have to put this into an app. So what I'm going to do is create an app. So we have to install a module called pyinstaller. So I'm going to do inside of our command prompt. So go into command prompts and make sure you are inside of your virtual environment and type pip install pyinstaller. We're nearly there. Okay, we've just installed pyinstaller, and now this is what we want to do. So we're going to go to our Python folder that has our Python code. There we go. And we want to delete all the files that are not Python files. So go to type, and I'm going to delete all the CSV files, all the text files, but do not delete any Python files, .py files. I'm going to delete the PyCache as well. Cool. And yeah, that can stay. So you can delete that log file there, but that folder GPT-4o.logs, that can stay. And then we want to choose this main.py file. So we want to do we want to type pyinstaller main.py and then -- one file space -- windowed, and the windowed part is very important. So make sure you put it in windowed. So pyinstaller main.py -- one file -- windowed. Okay, so it says it's completed successfully. So let me check if that is true. So we've got, okay, so the file that we want is in this distribution folder called dist. So let's click on dist and main.exe, that's what we want. So we want to cut that, I'm going to cut it and paste it in the main Python code folder like here. So we're going to paste that. You want to delete the main spec file, we don't need that. And you want to delete the build, you don't need anything in the build in the build folder, so you can delete that. And yeah, the size of this file is 50 megabytes, and it's 50 megabytes really just for 5 Py files. But the reason why it's 50 megabytes is because it includes all the modules that we imported. So that's why the file is so big. Dist. Okay, so I can now delete the distribution folder now because there's nothing in that. It's empty. And I'm going to run that right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just to prove to you that we don't need VS Code to be open. I'm going to close VS Code now. And I'm going to run main.xe. We'll see if there's any errors. So yeah, it's Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So that's the Selenium, which is inside Python. And this is the log file that's been created at 12:34 a.m. and the time is 12:34 a.m. 25th of November. So let me double click on that notepad. Let's see what's been written in it. Yeah, so info, program start. Good, good, good. Oh, everything going well. Yeah, so it's running automatically without VS Code or any Python IDE. And you can copy and paste this program into any Windows computer. And this program is going to send all that data to the database. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to stop recording now. And the only thing left to do is to create an expert advisor that reads our database and takes trades based on the sentiment of those stocks. So I'll stop recording now, and I'll see you in the next one.